Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Virtual Preschool. I am so glad you have decided to join me for circle time today. Let's figure out what day of the week it is. The last day of school we had was Wednesday, Thursday. So today is Friday. Yes, so let's move that rainbow arrow down to Friday. And who remembers the name of our month? April, yes. And remember, we've been saying all month, April showers bring May flowers. All right, let's go ahead and count the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. What comes next? 29. And our pattern: umbrella, umbrella, flower, flower. What comes next? Umbrella. Yes, so we have a number 29 with an umbrella on it. So that was yesterday. That was a 3's class day, so we needed to do one more. 27, 28, 29. What comes next? 30. Yes, that's a hard one, isn't it? You gotta learn how to count by tens. 10, 20, 30 to get to that, right? All right, so let's figure out the pattern. Umbrella, umbrella, flower, flower, umbrella, umbrella. Yes, so we have a number 30 with an umbrella on it. All right, so remember what I said last week and this week, that this is our last week of April. Next week is a new month, and I'm hoping that a lot of you will know what the name of next month is when you come back next week. All right, so let's go ahead and say the date. Today is Friday, April 30th, 2021. All right, so let's check out the weather. If you look out your window, does it look partly cloudy, cloudy, sunny, windy, rainy, stormy, or snowy? When you step out your door, does it feel burning hot, hot, warm, cool, cold, or freezing cold? And don't forget to check out your weather app to see what the number is for the temperature today. All right, so this week we've been talking all about what? Seeds. Yes, and that's one of my favorite things because seeds grow into what? Plants, and I love growing plants. So last school day we talked about the parts of a seed. Does anyone remember what this part is around the outside of the seed? Seed coat. Yes, and that's the part that protects the seed and the baby plant inside. Does anyone remember what this middle part is called? Yep, if you said the food or the cotyledon, or it can also be called the seed. Excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here. The seed leaves, right? The seed leaves, the cotyledon, or the food. And who remembers what this part is called? The embryo or the baby plant. This is the part that grows out of the ground up. All right. So that's the parts of the seed. So let's see what our book is today in our mystery envelope. I have to put it sideways today because the book wouldn't fit standing up, right? So here we go. Let's see what it is. All right, so this book is called From Seed to Plant, and we are only going to read part of this book, and we will finish reading it another time. All right, so from seed to plant. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So a sunflower seed is always going to grow another sunflower. And an acorn is always going to grow another oak tree, right? An apple seed is always going to grow another apple tree. A pumpkin seed is always going to grow another pumpkin plant. Wouldn't have a sunflower seed grow an apple tree. That wouldn't happen. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. Remember we talked about that with the other book too, right? That most plants have flowers on them and also grow fruit. A flower is made up of many parts. So I'm going to tell you some of those parts. All right, so we have a stem. We have the sepal, that's these things right here. We have the ovules right here. And that's where the little tiny egg cells are. All right. Then we have the pistil right here. We have the stigma up here. We have, let's see here, this is the stamen, and on top of the stamen is the pollen, right? That's the part that the bees pick up when they come to eat. And these are the, oh, did I say the stigma? Yes, and then the petals, right? Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen, remember the stamen was this part right here, must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. So pollen from one flower needs to land up here on the stigma of another flower, but the same kind of flower. This is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So there's a picture here of wind blowing some pollen from flower to flower. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice, called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. Right? So there's a picture of a bird with pollen on its belly, and it's going onto the pistil of another flower. And you can see the bird's belly getting, pollen on it too over here. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. So the pollen lands up there on the pistil. It goes down into the ovule down here. The seeds grow inside the flower even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. So remember in the other book they talked about that most plants grow some kind of fruit, but some of them also have like the cones, right? Like the pine cones that grow on pine trees so that hold the seeds. So here are some pods where the seeds are. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. Remember in the other book we also talked about different ways that seeds travel, right? So some seeds fall to the ground. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. So birds are carrying the seeds. Sometimes also, just like talked about in the other book with the bear eating the seeds, sometimes the birds eat the seeds and then they poop them out also. So seeds can fall from the flower, right? Seeds can pop out of the flower. Seeds can be carried by birds. Other seeds fall into streams, ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There, they travel on the water until they stick to the dirt along the shore. So remember in the other book too, they talked about seeds traveling by water. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground, like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. So remember, dandelion seeds have that fluff on them, right? And they fly through the wind. And these seeds with the little wings on them, they're called parachute. No, I'm sorry, these ones are the parachutes. These are called helicopter seeds, and those float in the wind too. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animals or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. Boy, seeds have a lot of different ways they can travel, don't they? A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. So a lot of times, if you are planting a garden, you might buy seeds in a packet or a box. Those seeds still came from plants though, right? The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. So this is just like we talked about the other day when we did that seed activity. So the outside is called the seed coat, right? It protects the seed. The inside is the food, or the cotyledon, or the seed leaves. And this is the baby plant, or the embryo. And that is where we're going to stop this book, because we're just talking about seeds this week. Next week we'll talk about how seeds grow into plants. All right, so I just have one activity to show you today. This is our Parts of a Seed book. So you have this, and in your packet you have some pictures of how to color these, all right? At school, I have a little book that I have laminated that shows how to color each of the different pages of the book. So you'll write your name on the front, or trace it, open to the first page, and this says the seed. All right, so for this one, you're going to color all the parts because it says the seed. You're going to color the whole thing. So you're going to color the outside, seed coat, the inside, food, and the baby plant or embryo. All right, the next page says seed coat. So this one, you just color the seed coat along the outside. All right, the next one says the cotyledon, and the cotyledon is the inside food, remember? So there's the cotyledon. You're just going to color the cotyledon on the inside. And then the last page says the embryo. That's the baby plant, right? So then you will color just the embryo. All right? And you have these same examples in your packet. They're just not laminated and put into a book. All right? So that is what I have to share with you today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And don't forget about packet pickup between 10 a.m. and 12 noon today. All right? So hopefully I will see a lot of you there. Bye, everyone.